Gotcha. Okay, very cool.
If you didn't do that and you need to stop, you could stop recording and then start recording again in the cloud if you need
Yeah,
to.
I think I'm recorded on the cloud now, so
You
very
got
cool.
it?
Yep.
Okay, my brothers and
Awesome.
sisters, I will talk to you soon. I'll talk to you Friday. Danny, have a great day.
Sounds good.
Everybody
Thanks
else.
so much, Johnny. Johnny, you killed it, brother. Killed it. If you guys love Johnny, his analysis, going through the stocks in so much detail, just throw a quick one in that chat for Johnny. Just absolutely crushing it. Loving it. All right, very cool. So yeah, I'm DJ Dan. I've been, like I said, I found Jeremy back in 2018. Definitely a firm believer in that. I don't find, like, nobody actually finds opportunities. Opportunities find them. And for when I stumbled upon real life trading and just scrambling through a bunch of random videos, some were okay, some were just all over the place. I found Jeremy, who spoke to me in the sense of actually being able to understand the stock market, and bigger than even that, just kind of being able to apply most of that to almost every, if not all, aspects of my life. So very awesome to be here, and I appreciate all you guys being here as well, joining me for this free week. I know we got a couple of the veterans in the house as well, so what's up to the team, but all the new guys too. And if you guys are digging real life trading, the free week is going on all week till Friday. So I would definitely recommend you could go to reallifetrading.com and click on the free week link if you want to throw it on social media, something like that, because just as you're here looking and kind of discovering for yourselves what real life trading is, there is some fundamental reason as to why you guys are on this call, right? And it could be different for absolutely everybody else, for every single one of you guys, but there's a reason that you are here looking, whether it's you think it's just, hey, I just need the basic information for trading. I don't like that job. I want to quit the job and do something full time. I want to have the flexibility to have more hours with the family, to take those family vacations. Whether you might love your job, that's perfectly fine. If you love your job, you want to stick with it, and you're looking for additional income, or something like that. Everybody has their own personal reason as to why they do something. So the fact that you're here, and I know there's somebody in your circle, your community, that might be in the same situation. So if you guys do want to share that on your social media, that would be great. This community, we're building, we're growing, and again, it's not just it's called real life trading for a reason. It's not stock market trading. Every single one of us are in different paths, on different spots on the journey of our life. So some of us are 21, and I'm so jealous of you because you have your entire life. The fact that you found this very, very early, and I didn't, because I didn't know. But the opportunity, for me, was not there at the time. It was just it was everybody finds things at different reasons and different opportunities. So by all means, if you guys do want to share that. Otherwise, we'll go through kind of the stock market. We'll try to figure it out, where the actual general market's going. We'll take a look at a few stocks, see if we can get a couple setups in, and that's where we're going to look for the afternoon. And I'll also kind of go through what I like for the afternoon type of plays. I take a lot of fades from the 12 to 2 time frame, and I take what we call a rollover play. So we'll take a look at those as well. I did get triggered into workhorse. I'm probably going to either just take a full R loss, or I have some positions up here where I'll take out some and then kind of moderate it, but I'm not really going to focus on the trade too much. Usually, so you'll see us put in an official trade. When we take an official trade, you'll see the full analysis as to what we do, and I'll go through the workhorse too, just to show you guys what I was looking for. Again, might work, might not work. That's with any trade. You're playing the setups. You're not playing every trade must win. The one thing that changed probably my entire thinking and actually made me a more profitable trader is being okay with losing. You're going to lose on trades. I don't care how good you are. There's going to be trades that you lose. So that's why the R system is so important. The fact that you have a certain risk tolerance, and I can take certain trades just based off a certain pattern, and the pattern itself might show probability that the trade is going to work, but it doesn't mean it has to. So when I was trading prior to real life trading, what I would do is I would find a certain setup. So this one in particular, I drew this downtrend line on workhorse out of the gate, completely bullish. the market itself was okay bullish. This was probably a little bit stronger than the market itself. I do know a little bit about the company, but we've had on the daily chart. So I keep on the 5 minute. This is a 30 minute. This is the SPY for the overall market. This is a 4 hour chart, and this is a 15 minute chart. So what I like on this, we did have a pretty big high wave, some volume. So I know I'm probably a little bit early in on the trade. However, we did break the downtrend. And to me, I'm looking at these candles here. So we had the opening of the day was roughly right at around here's the low point. Oops, I got the fibs on there. Let me switch that over. So we had the low point of the day here. We came down with these two candles, and anybody that was saying, "Hey, I think Workhorse is going to be a short today," they was probably most likely a ton of orders out here to short, or anybody that was thinking, "Hey, it's going to be bullish," they're probably putting stops here, or I mean, as the day progressed, if they did move their stops under here. So you did have some sell-off. So this would be kind of a bear trap on the trade. Very next candle came in almost bullish engulfing, sold off probably to about a 50% retracement of this move. Kind of just hung around a little bit. My stops on it is at the low of the day. So if the trade's not going to work, it's just not going to work. I'm okay if I take the loss on it. So the fact that we broke out of the downtrend, the fact that we consolidated, the market has been recovering a little bit. I do expect a little bit of retracement in the overall market. I think we do get at least one more pullback. So we'll see if that happens. And if that does happen, I might get stopped out on trade. It is what it is. But you'll see when we do an official trade at Real Life Trading, the moderator has to be on the mic. You'll see us go a little bit into detail as far as why we're taking it, kind of just how I did there. But I'd also have to be triggered when I'm on the microphone as well. So this is not a official trade. Once we do have the official trades, I'll type it right here in the chat pane. It will look something like this. So official day trade Workhorse. And keep in mind, this is not official. This is just me showing you guys just how that would look and come across on the screen as well, just so you see, and I'll explain what the numbers mean too. So again, not an actual official trade. I'm already in this trade. I'm just using this purely as an example of what this would look like. So I would type in official day trade, the ticker, and then the first number is always the entrance, and the second number is always the stop. So based on those two numbers, you're able to figure out, based on your R size, because your R is probably going to be different than mine. But you'd be able to take this number, subtract 2397, and I have an Excel spreadsheet. You guys could just make your own. Very simple. So you just literally type in the two numbers. But anytime, and if you're in Slack, you'll see these type of things come across from other traders. Like, hey, I'm entering here. You've probably seen it a little bit in the chat pane as well. So the first number is always going to be your entrance, and the second place is your stop limit. So the formula for the R system is that first number, 2397 minus 2320. Let's say you have a $200 R, so you would just divide whatever that equals by 200, and that would determine how many shares. So in that case, it'd be, let me do the math. So you're looking at, like, it comes out to 259.74.02597, et cetera, et cetera. So on that case, once you have a 259.74, I would just round down to 259. So you'd have 259 shares. And then that would be the amount where, if the trade doesn't work, the most you lose on the trade is $200 on that trade. So that's how the trades look when we're posting them. So when you see those numbers, that's what those mean. So if there's any confusion as far as the R system, and again, if the trade doesn't work, your entire goal as a trader is not really to say, here's how much money I made. It's to take your setups, and it is to be able to try to lose less than an R on the trade, right? So the most you're going to lose is an R, and that means, hey, the trade just didn't work. You tried, the effort was there. But what you could do is you want to be able to move your stops up a little bit when the opportunity is there for you guys, and that means you just lost less than an R. So if you lose even 0.8 Rs, 0.9 Rs, you're still under an R. That means the next trade that I take, if I get stopped out and this comes down and takes me out, the next trade I take, all I really have to do is hit 1 R. If I hit 1 R, I'm now positive for the day. I have I have one wrong trade, one right trade, and I'm still positive for the day, right? So I tried the setup, doesn't work. Cool, I get it, and then I'm moving on to the next trade. So that's why the R system is valuable. Where prior to trading, I would be like, cool, look at this opportunity. Everything looks so good with it. Give me 1,000 shares of XYZ stock, and then that one trade doesn't work, and I could be on a hot streak where I had 10 previous trades all work and they were all killing it. And then that one trade, that's the one I liked it so much that I'm going to go extremely heavy on it. And that's the trade that doesn't work and wipes out all your good profitable trades. So if you want to have longevity trading and be a professional day trader where you're consistently making money, you have to use some kind of risk management, which is almost more important than actually trading itself. There's tons of, and I'd be lying if I said that, real life trading is the only place you can learn about candlesticks. You can Google what a high wave candle is. You could Google what a hammer is. You could YouTube other videos. There's tons of information out there. The one thing with real life trading is it's all together. It's explained. I think Jeremy does a tremendous job of actually explaining, number one, what the candles are, but also the sentiment behind it. And we'll go through some of the sentiment as well behind some of the candles that are on here, and why I choose certain entrance places and why I choose certain stop places. It's mainly based off of the sentiment of what the candles mean and what the emotions are of the people trading within those candles. So that's very important. And then when you're moving your stops, you're moving it also based off of that same analysis as well. So with real life trading, it's just all the information's there, but it's taught in very detailed concepts, so that you could really kind of understand the meaning of the candles. And again, it's just consistent. So you're starting with the basics, you're starting with what the candles mean, where to draw support, resistance, things like that. And then you're kind of moving from that aspect up into different trades, and you have the R system behind you, things like that. So again, you don't even have to be the greatest trader in the world. I would definitely say I'm not the greatest trader in the world by far, but I'm able to be profitable because I'm able to manage the trades, manage the risk on the different trades that I'm taking. Um, if you guys have questions on anything, or also want me to look at certain stocks and we can pull up some kind of do a little bit of an analysis, by all means type it in the chat pane. We're here in this room specifically to learn. On a normal week, that's not the free week as well, we will go through the same analysis. The beginner room is always a little bit slower. It doesn't mean that we're not taking trades in the room. It just means that we're able to go into more in-depth analysis. So sometimes there's times where the beginner room takes trades and the regular day trade room doesn't. It's all based off of what they're seeing in a certain group, what stocks are pulling out, things like that. AMWL. So this stock I was looking at before, it already kind of did its retest. I wanted this retest to be a little bit lower and also a little bit later in the day. So there's two types of setups that I'm looking for when I'm taking official trades. And I'm going to see if I can find any of those right now. So far, not. Beyond was another one I was looking for. It just didn't pull back far enough for me. Let's see. Tesla. So if we go back to the market, and I do incorporate the Elliott wave theory a lot into my trades. Do you work? Hanging 10 says, do you also work a day job, or is trading full-time means? Yeah, no. So I don't think I specifically covered it. I do own a entertainment company, kind of, sort of, at this point, because obviously the coronavirus just wiped out all events and parties, and anybody I know in the industry, even guys that own other companies, things like that, just the amount of work that we see. And there's a couple other people that do lighting that's in this group, that does audio in this group and things like that. And they'll tell you the same thing. There's like nothing going on right now. So I'm in a spot where technically I still have the business, but I'm more or less transitioning over. I was always day trading. I was always at least swing trading. I would look to take some day trades, but with running the business and things like that, I wasn't able to focus on doing it solely. So with so yes, I still have the business, but I at this point, like I don't even advertise. I'm probably not going forward much further with it. Any events that are still on the calendar, or customers reschedule stuff, we'll finish those events. But I'm in the process of just transitioning full time. So as of now, like December, I think there was like one event. January, I think I had one event I put one of my guys on. It's not even worth me doing the event because I'm more focused on the market more than anything. So yes, technically no, but realistically yes, pretty much full time. And then we do have all the mentor groups too. So I'm obviously on the mic. Usually my schedule, and sometimes I'll fill in for people, or we just rotate things every now and then. But usually I'm on the beginner room, uh, moderating, doing this, and going through setups and things like that with you guys. 12 to 2 every Monday and Wednesday this room, and then Thursday, Friday I'm in the other trading room as well. So those are the hours on the mic, and then we do mentor groups as well. So if you go to reallifetrading.com, you click on the mentor programs. So I'll host those as well. Where usually those groups, I mean, it comes out to like you're in the group. You have the same 6 people, so it's max 6 people per group, and I think it comes out to like $50 a week. So it's relatively inexpensive, but with that you get more hand holding, and we go and there's obviously even in this group right now, there's some people that are trading stocks, trading options. Some are completely brand new, and this is legitimately their first week trading. And then we have people that have been doing it for maybe 10 years. So we do have the different mentors for different groups that might fit you guys a little bit better based on what you're trying to do. Um, I do mainly I'm trading stocks, but I will take options. I used to trade options a lot, but I've kind of come back off of that a little bit, especially since finding again before real life trading, it was just how much money can I possibly make in the market, and that was my goal. Like there was trades I would take. I took in 2018 right before. This is probably the thing that actually helped me find real life trading. I think Tesla was trading at like 250 a share. This is before the stock split and all that stuff. And I was trading options. So some news came out. I can't even tell you what the news is. I completely forget. But I was like, man, this seems good. And I would buy like $5,000 worth of option contracts. And that news worked for me. And I was within 15 minutes, I was up like 17 grand. And I was like, this is sweet. I'm gonna be rich forever. Like I'm just gonna trade options. And then but like and I would trade it even before that Tesla trade and stuff like that. But I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then the next 2 days I tried doing it again, still on Tesla, and just wiped out the 17,000 plus another like 10 grand on top. So I was like, I should probably actually figure out what I'm doing with the market before I before I just take those stocks. So you just which is the best loss I think I've ever had in my life, because without that, either I would be under the impression I was the greatest trader in the world forever. Um, Even if it was like a slower drip and the account slowly started fading, I'm like, ah, come back. And then either I just be too tired of like the slower moves and just wipe out the account and just go figure out what else to do with my life. But because it happened so quick, and I already saw like, yeah, I see the potential in the market. If I could just figure out how to trade it, and again, I had no idea what the sentiment was. I just thought there was like a guy on the other side of the screen. Just I would hit buy, and he'd be like, "Cool, give me your shares," and he just took all my money every time. But after I realized that there was the sentiment behind the candles and what they actually mean, to me that was the thing that really helped me a lot on trading. And without taking those trades, I probably would not have found real life trading. What's your criteria for choosing day trade stocks? So yeah, it depends. For me, it's the time of day. So as Johnny went through before, in the morning trade, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, we're looking at gaps. So we want to find the gap and goes where, let's see, what was there any gap and goes today? You guys could throw it in the chat if there was. We'll pull one up. Or if there's like retest gap, and just to know again where people wake up in the morning. Maxar. So we'll take a look at Maxar. All right. So with Maxar, we'll pull up the daily chart. So the sentiment on this one, it wasn't a good location because it's breaking out of this candle here. However, it is a retest gap, right? So technically, this is a red candle. So where this open is a retest gap. So you're kind of expecting it, and you're at all-time highs. You're at resistance, things like that. So you'd probably be expecting the retest, which is exactly what happened here. So this came down, it retested the previous candle. Probably most of the selling is done. Right here, this is a gap and go. So this candle was red. That means there's either people selling their shares, like, cool, we're at highs, I'm just going to take my profit, or you have people that are like, yeah, we're at highs, we're at a good resistance, I think we're going to fade. They're opening up shorts on this day. So what happens on this day is you have the gap and go, right? So everybody that shorted or sold, they were completely wrong. And now if you're short, you're getting burned. You wake up, you don't even know why the company just gapped up like this. You want to sell your shorts, meaning you have to buy back your shares, causing the stock to move higher. And then anybody that was sold off on this day or in this range, they're like, well, I guess it's going to keep going. So let's buy back in. And you get new traders coming in, you get those people buying back, plus you have people buying their shorts back, which causes it to move higher. So something like this, you're looking for a positive day. Something like this in the this certain spot, this one would be a retest because again, people are shorting, they wake up. Yep. So this is actually this would be a gap and go into resistance. I'm sorry, when the retest. This would be a gap and go, which failed mainly probably because it's into this resistance. So this is this would be a failed gap and go at this certain point. And again, I'll go through my afternoon analysis of what I'm looking for. But with this type of gap, you're probably thinking, cool, it didn't completely run. However, the fact that it retested, we might have a good opportunity, and you're starting to get the higher lows in on the stock with the potential new higher highs. So here's the pivot. This one's a little bit higher. So you're looking at something like this. So I can see it bouncing off of here. Probably VWAP is the next stop. Maybe we get some kind of pullback down to this trend line, and then we look to take off again. So when I'm trading at the very morning, I'm looking for the gap and goes, the retest gaps, trying to figure out where I think the stock could go that day. Once you have that sentiment down, you're looking for just good entry points on the daily chart to trade it intraday. So I use the day chart to figure out what to trade, and then I'm looking for the smaller time frames, the 15-minute charts, the 30-minute charts, things like that. The 5-minute charts at the open, I could use the 3-minute chart, things like that, just to find the best price point for me now to execute my analysis on where I think that stock's going. Again, does it have to work? No, yeah, I mean, technically this is a gap and go. This one ended up retesting the full way. I think probably most of the selling is done in this one, and we might take off. But because we have the 200 moving average, the VWAP, and the 50, probably not a stock that I'm willing to risk a full R that it does come back from this point. All right. Let me pull up. So in the afternoon, I'm looking for a couple different things. I'm looking for more reverses. Maybe BABA might be good. Let me just check out Workhorse, and we'll pull up BABA. All right, so Workhorse potentially has some kind of double bottom. Again, I'm already in this one. I'm either going to probably lose slightly less than an R, or this would be a decent spot to bounce as it's creating a double bottom. So we'll continue to watch that one. But BABA maybe has a potential reverse. So if we pull up BABA, this is the bottom of the green candles. That's where that candle opened for the day. The top of the body of the candle, that's where it's closed today. Any of the wick, that means there was buying and selling in there. So at this point, it dipped down to, let's say, 255.61. And people said, I think that's too low. I'm going to start buying. It got up to 260.27. And people said, all right, let's take some profits or sell. So that's what the wick means. The body is the top, the bottom of the green candles is where it opened. The top is where it closed. So it closed roughly around 258, let's say 50. And I could pull up more exact, but let's say 258.50, 258.70, something like that. Today, what happens? The market opens up here. So on the red candles, the top of the candle is where it opens. And this candle's not closed yet, but the bottom of where this candle would be the close. So it gapped up. That means anybody that bought within this day, they wake up today, their account is automatically higher. So again, they don't know why it gapped up. I mean, I don't know if there's news or whatever, but it gapped up, and they have more money than when they went to sleep at the end of, in this case, it'd be Friday. So they're going to sell. So they're looking to sell those shares, which means we're going to retest this gap. So right around here, based on the fact that I know it's a retest gap, we did come in for the retest. Then I'm looking for something that to me looks like a spot we could possibly try to reverse. So I'm doing some downtrend lines. So I'm taking from this pivot to this very next pivot. And then you see again, it bounced up here. It started to break. So now I'm looking for some kind of entry. This is probably the low of the day if we're going to reverse. And on this certain trade, I don't want to get in unless we start breaking some positive momentum. But to me, if this is, this kind of looks a little almost double topish. We did get a little bit higher on this move. So we are technically creating new higher highs. We are technically creating higher lows as well. So this would be a little breakdown. If we start pushing up here on a longer term basis, that would be a new higher low. So this could be a decent reversal pattern. I know where my targets are in the day. I mean, I'd want to be out of the stock by 264. That would give us a solid sickening hammer on the day. But we do have the VWAP. So anytime I'm taking reversals that are below VWAP, I want to make sure that I can get the right risk to reward on the trade. So I want to make sure that I could get at least an R prior to that VWAP, however I set it up. The other thing that I'm looking for is volume. So I don't really see any huge volume spikes or anything like this in this one. So I'd give it a couple minutes, see what it wants to do on the 30-minute chart. We're in a high wave. The high wave is really just a big indecision candle. So we sold down here. People bought it back up. We bought it up here. People sold it, closed, very small body. So to me, this says, yeah, I don't really know where we're going for the day. If we start breaking out of here higher, that means people have probably made the decision of where they think this stock is going to go. The bulls are back in control, and the same sentiment. If we broke lower than this candle, that means the bears are going to take over, and we probably have a little bit of a rundown as well. Jennifer says, I'm in Baba Leaps, January 2022. I love Bob. Baba's a good company. Baba's not going anywhere. When you take the leaps, you just have a longer time frame for the certain trades to work. I don't know what your expiration, what your strike price is on those leaps, but yeah, Baba's going to be bullish. I have no doubt. I mean, even at the highs, 315, 319, 32, I think was the high. I definitely think within 2021 we can get up there, and I have a ton of lines just from previous trades and things like that on my chart. But you have a nice downtrend, similar to what I just did on this. You have a nice downtrend on Baba. It looks to me like there was some kind of consolidation at this range. We've started to break out. So I would be more bullish on Baba. Leaps are option contracts. So all it is, and usually with a leap, you want to be technically classified as a leap. You're buying like at least 9 months out. So we're in January. If you're buying something in maybe October, November, or 2022, like Jennifer has, you're giving yourself, you're buying that contract, and you're giving yourself plenty of time on that contract. Let's see. I'm seeing if I missed anything in the chat. After the retest, the bias is long because of the daily trend. Yes, typically. So right. So you want to include everything into your analysis. Baba, for me, again, we broke out of the downtrend. We had this green candle here. Again, people bought this day. On this day, it opened up at 270. So sentiment is, yeah, that's a retest gap. Did it fully retest this day? No. But it tried. It got pretty close to that retest. And now, again, we're opening up higher. Does that mean that we're going to continue higher? No. But again, we have another downtrend here, and we broke up out of that. We have some buyers coming in. Obviously, the trend recently is bullish, and I could see it taking off. So, yeah, I'd want to stay a little bit more bullish than bearish right now. But I do understand that we didn't really fill this 252. So I would love this 252.49 to fill. I don't know. I don't know, or do I expect that to fill today? So on a day trade, though, yeah, I think we covered that. I would be right now. My analysis would be a little bit more bullish on Baba than bearish. But I would use it as a day trade. And then if I want to enter a swing, yeah, I really kind of wanted to fit that 252 range down there a little bit. ATVI has potential double bottom. ATVI. Yep, and we'll go through the wave counts as well. So where do we get to? So this is the top. With this trade, so we still have a downtrend for the day. If we get some kind of reversal, I would be taking all pretty much a VWAP at this point, because we have VWAP up here, we have the 50, and we have the 200. Plus, we still have that downtrend from earlier today. So this could be definitely a sweet double bottom. It definitely at least looks like it to me. This could be a bullish engulfing candle on after that sell-off, meaning that we could take a pop. But I would want at least a 1-to-1 risk to reward on this trade. And you can probably go a little tighter with setups on this as well. If this closes a bullish candle, you could probably take a stop at like, I don't know, 92.55. Give yourself a little bit of room to work. And then I would probably, I don't see any huge volume spikes. You do have this high wave. I wish the volume on that high wave indecision was a little larger, but probably my entry would be roughly about here, 93.37. Since you have that wick, maybe take it a little bit higher. Which, if that's the case, if that's a setup, you probably don't have a good full risk reward of at least 1R on this trade. And again, because of the downtrend that we're still in, it hasn't quite broken out of that downtrend. So I would be just bailing everything at that VWAP for hopefully if you could squeeze in a 1-to-1 risk to reward. But really, when you're trading, you want to try to get a 2R trade. I just think we have too much up here. So for 2Rs, I would need it to break out almost probably to the highs of the day for that to be the case. Edward has a leap. That's for Baba, I'm assuming, right? Yep. Yeah, picking up some leaps on that. The other one I like a lot too is FireEye. So right now in workhorse, I'm about roughly even. We'll see. But it does look like it formed some kind of double bottom. So again, will it work? I don't know. But does it have good potential to? Yeah, absolutely. So let me see. What was I going to pull up? I forget exactly, but Baba, I am watching the trend of this. And we'll see if we can find something else. I don't see anything with the true rollover pattern. So the rollover pattern that I like, I was looking to pull up FireEye. But for the rollover pattern, typically you want something that breaks. You're bullish on the stock. It breaks pretty decent, strong run beginning of the day. And then you have some kind of pullback. Usually they happen around 12 noon to 1 p.m. Eastern, where it pulls back to about roughly the 50% 618 retracement, which we could pull up fibs if we see anything that potentially fits it. And then consolidates for at least a little bit in this range. And then you're taking the breakout of wherever that consolidation is to continue later after people come back from lunch. So that's an afternoon rollover play. So I typically try those, or I'm looking for the downtrend breaks with some kind of 5-wave count or some kind of higher lows, something like that in the trade. FireEye, I do like as far as like leaps and stuff. Basically off of the monthly chart, looks pretty phenomenal. Let's pull up a monthly. I might even have this chart marked up already. I'm not sure. So with FireEye, I mean, it's a cybersecurity company, which I think under the new stimulus, I think $9 billion going to of the new programs that they're putting out, $9 billion is going to internet security. So FireEye is probably going to be one of the top ones to get some of that. But again, we came down, we did a little bit of a like high wave-ish hammer type scenario here. This is inside. We finally got the break here. And then we just had a strong bullish move, broke out of even where it IPO'd that month, and pretty relatively strong stock, or strong breakout at least. All of this month, again, this is the monthly chart. This is just putting up a high wave indecision at the top 30% of this monthly candle. So I would actually kind of love for it to do nothing for the rest of this week. And then maybe February, we get another push higher, another break. So like this one, I have some leaps on, but I'm bullish on FireEye in general. So again, with the leaps, I'm buying January. I can tell you the exact ones I have, but January of 2022 So giving myself some time for the play to work. But with that bullish candle, if we get another break, I think we could have a decent run on FireEye as well. But yeah, leaps are just words for long-term contracts options on stocks. All right, so this potentially market is trying to create new higher highs. We haven't really seen a higher low. We haven't really seen a new higher high. So until we get this point broken and closed above that, we have a good shot of at least retesting the highs of the day of the market. If not, we might see another little bit of a collapse. So we'll see, or profit taking, something like that in the markets. I see Donna raise her hand. Did you have a question, Donna? Or just hit a wrong button or key? All right, we'll see what else we have up there. Baba, to me, looks like we're kind of trying to set up, but again, nothing that I really like too much at this point. What strike leap did I buy? For FireEye, I have the January 21st, 2022 $25 strike calls. So I only need to move a little bit amount of time and a whole lot of time to do it. And since I got in, right now those leaps from where I got in, I'm up 22% on. Let's look at see what Facebook is doing today. Yeah, so today seems like a day that would probably, if we were to take a trade, it's probably going to be more of a breakout type play than, I don't see too many that have really run up and starting to kind of come down a little bit. Is this the MWL? This one I was watching, I think it just didn't really give me that rollover that I wanted. Beyond Meat could be a potential. So it's 12:41. So we're starting to get a little bit late for the rollover play. Did Apple do today? Yep. So Apple just kind of hanging out, pretty much just mid-range. On Apple, I mean, we did have a nice run on Apple already. So anybody that bought here, anywhere, and it says $60, but that's after the splits and stuff like that. Apple broke out of the downtrend, so it worked very similar to what I normally look for. We are still pushing bullish on Apple. The only thing now with Apple is, again, everybody is profitable on the trades. Everybody's in on these trades. That there's hardly anybody really sweating Apple, unless you're shorting for some reason. then you have something to worry about. But really, I mean, Green Day, everything is just bullish, nice uptrend to it. So, yeah, I'd be waiting to get into Apple at some kind of pullbacks if it comes. I do have shares of Apple and things like that as well, even for the long term. I do a lot of long-term trades as well, just because it's building. So when you're day trading, you're looking for income, right? So I'm taking a trade in this exact moment. I'm trying to hit 2 hours before it hits a certain target or price. That's the income that I'm looking for. When I buy long-term stuff, I'm looking to build wealth. So I'm looking to buy to own. I'm typically looking for things that have dividends. So like ExxonMobil, I picked up in December, end of December. It has like an 8.5% dividends. I'm already up on the trade, but it's not even, I'm not even playing it for the chart itself. I'm looking for stocks that have been pretty much beat up. So even here on my chart, there's a year out. We got 65.73. If I go a little bit longer time frame, I think it was over $100 at one point. So the fact that we're just beat up, I know ExxonMobil's not going somewhere in 10 years. It has an 8.5% dividend. I got out I got in when it was right around that 200 moving average. For me, it's just something I won't sell. Like my intention of getting to long term is just not sell for 10 years. So if it pulls back, great, cool, pulls back, that's the 200. I'll add more shares. Again, I'm just playing the dividends on it. Plus, it does have potential to, like, in the next 10 years, can this be back at $67? Would that be a nice return? Yeah, I think so. So I've really no too much concerns with it. Dan, can you go over an example stock where you follow the retest and look to get in? Yeah. I'm trying to think. On Friday there was a couple that I was playing. Let me pull up the trading journal just to see what stocks I had. What was the other one? This one I got skipped on, but it was a good entry. I think it was Beyond Meat. I think. No, it wasn't Beyond Meat. It was let me take a look. DraftKings, DKNG. I think DraftKings on Thursday had an afternoon rollover type play. Yep. So this one here. CRM. Yep. So CRM, it did break the downtrend for the day. So I'm looking for the 5-wave count as well. So there's the Elliott wave theory. So it's just that people buy and sell at different times on kind of a 5 movement pattern. So what the 5-wave theory is. So let's say, for example, you have $1 million, right? And you have $1 million on, we'll just say CRM. So you have $1 million in your position. You get in right here, right? Thinking that, cool, I think it's going to go up in the trade. So you're getting in right around there. All of a sudden, it starts to dip. Do you really freak out on your first dip? Like your sentiment of the stock was, hey, cool, it's got plenty of potential in CRM. It's going to move up higher. Probably not. Usually you're like, oh, it's going to come back and it's going to fade. So now all of a sudden you went from $1 million to, let's say, $750,000. That's your account now. All of a sudden it starts to pull back. You're like, cool, I'm making that money again. Again, you have new buyers coming in. They're like, CRM is bullish. I'm going to try to buy in there. So any of the selling, the profit taking that was happening, it's kind of over. People are looking to fish for new prices. Your account just went from now 750 to 850,000. So you're feeling good again. Hey, I was right about the stock. It's coming back. Then you get more selling. What that selling is basically people are like, well, yeah, I mean, CRM is run up like this. I missed my opportunity to take out profits on that first dip. So it's giving me a little bit more to come back. I'm going to now sell. It's on the rise again. Let's just get out of this position. So then you get that third wave. The third wave is usually the biggest wave because on this wave, you have all these new buyers, the weak hands that bought thinking it was going to go up. Now it starts breaking underneath their point. Now they're sitting in losses. They have to close out. Plus this person here that was at 750, they felt good. Now they feel horrible because now their account's at 650,000, let's say, and continue to go lower. So you're getting a lot more people just shorting it. And then you get you get people looking for, hey, it's a bullish stock. Why not go bullish? I'm going to buy in here. So now they start buying in here again. If this person didn't sell, they're like, man, my account is so underwater. Anytime we get a rise, I'm going to just take it. So they see this other leg and they're kind of clearing out their last positions on the trade as well. And same thing with wave 3, maybe you have some shorts coming in. You have some people buying back their shares. They're profitable. You have some more people looking for that last move. It starts breaking back lower. They're bailing. So you have that fifth wave down. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the wave count. Usually at the bottom of the wave count, you have some kind of like ABC pattern. So just kind of basically it's just consolidation down at this level. So in the afternoon trades, and I'll show you why this is important for CRM, and we'll go through this. If you're drawing your downtrend line and the full wave counts happen within that first initial downtrend, I'm looking to buy the breakout of that trend, right? So all 5 waves happened. Now we're starting to break out of the downtrend. That's all good. If let's say we have a downtrend that's here and we don't have the full 5 wave count. So basically we have, here's your first wave down. Here's your second wave. Here's your third wave down here. And now your fourth wave is breaking out of the downtrend. Usually at that point, you broke out of the downtrend, which is good. However, you still have that one more pullback. So that becomes, this downtrend line is pretty much a diagonal support resistance. So the fact that we broke out of that downtrend, which would have been the resistance, is now the support. And I'm looking to buy somewhere off of that line again. So I'm looking for some kind of pullback down to that line. So for CRM, on a wave count perspective, this is 1, right? This is probably wave 2. Here's our longest wave, which is 3. And here's our 4th wave. So the fact that this came down, this would have been kind of the retest. Sometimes it goes lower. I don't know where this wave 5 goes to, but this looks like a potential spot for a breakout. So if we were to set a trade on CRM, which we maybe could do, we'll just set it up for purpose of this. I'd be looking for some kind of a breakout of this pivot, meaning that now we're creating another wave higher. This would be roughly about a 225.96 entry. So 225.96, 225.96. And then say I wanted to take this as my stop, which this stop here by itself is relatively aggressive. Usually on the pullbacks, like I said, I want CRM I wish it would have pulled back a little bit more, because then I could put my stop low of the day, which gives me better risk to reward. I know just from trading that if I take this risk to reward, I'm never getting my 2 R's up to that move. So I'd have to be forced to kind of, even if I want to give myself a little bit more room, maybe down to this 223.19 would probably be the best stop that I could take to give myself enough room for the stock to do its thing. And I'm only taking the breakout of this trend as well. But so 225.96 by 223.19. That means from this 2R target, it has to run to 231.50, which would be new highs of the day. So I would need a lot to happen for this trade, even with that a little bit extra aggressive stop of down here. I would need the stock to do a lot today for me to hit my 2 Rs. So for me, the risk to reward wouldn't quite be there. I'm risking an R, and it's got to do a lot to hit that mark. So for me, that wouldn't be a play that I would be looking for like right now to play. But yeah, it definitely broke out of that downtrend. This would be what I would consider the retest. The only other way, again, to really make this trade work, I would have to maybe go right under that pivot point. 223.71 would be extremely tight. It doesn't really give me much room. So at this point, it's pretty much I'm taking the trade. Either I'm going to probably lose an R, or at that point, I'll probably be within the 2 R. So I'll be looking to take some kind of partials with an extremely tight, but I have to be extremely comfortable if this double tops, comes back for one more pull down, and then looks to break out. So that I do like though. This trade was one that I set up on, this is Thursday. This is DraftKings. And I think that was my 2R target. But what I did on this one, so this is the Fibonacci retracement. And this is more of the afternoon rollover play. A really nice rollover play is when you don't see this. However, you can, there's a couple of sell candles and then just went on a bullish run. So for Fibonacci's, for the retracement portion of things, you want to take the absolute low of the day of the move, I would say, to the high of the move. So just in theory, again, even with the theory of how people are thinking, if it comes back to that 618 retracement in that area, the 50% is good, 618 is better. So the fact that we had a strong move, we started selling off. Now this is happening right around that 618 retracement area. This is consolidation, right? So you have a high wave, you have a bullish move, you're hanging in there, another high wave here, you have another hammer coming in. So the entry that I was looking to take, and again, in DraftKings, I just got skipped on this one, but it was right around this, I think it was like 53.37 range, something like that. And on this one, I did have a pretty aggressively tight stop on, just based on the fact that if it broke out, and the trade's going to work, it probably won't break through there again. So I was ready for, if it wicks me in and comes back, it's a bull trap, comes out, I was comfortable losing the 1R because, again, it was strong for pretty much the entire day. You're just getting your sell-off. Right around this time is 12 noon Eastern. So you can see the time down below there. So that's 12 noon Eastern. So that's right when you want this to happen. And then my 2R target was, wherever I drew that last line. Let me remove this. So this was my 2-hour target. So had I been triggered, this would have been a nice 2-hour trade. And it happened very quickly after it. I think I had one spot where I kind of planned it out. I was taking, this is the 1-hour target. I was taking like 20, 30% off at this point. So it would have been a nice trade. I think with taking the partials, I think I would have got out of it with like 1.7 hours. But that's what I was looking for. So right now, today, I haven't seen anything that I like. Sometimes you don't see them at all during the day, but that would be the afternoon rollover type play. So Bob was looking interesting. So one, let's do a wave count on Bob. We got 1. This would be 2. This long one is 3. So wave 3 is usually the longest out of the move. This is probably some kind of 4. This is 5. Here we have our consolidation breakdown. Again, the only thing that I don't like with the trade right now is that we're still within the downtrend that's there. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but I love the consolidation. The fact that we're getting this double bottom in on this trade probably gives us some kind of support. We can take the low of the day, or again, if we start breaking out of this downtrend, I want to try to catch the breakout of this downtrend as opposed to a retest after it breaks out, just because of the fact that I think we completed the full 5 waves, but I'm going to be patient until we actually get a break out of that downtrend. So I am watching Baba relatively closely on this trade. Let me see. Overstock. Yeah. Overstock just had a relatively big move, already broke the initial opening. So I think that's going to be a little weaker than more bullish. And again, my sentiment on Baba on that daily chart is the fact that we did retest. We're kind of still in that zone, just hanging out. I know we have room to move on Baba as well. So we're going to see if we do get the bullish breakout and then where we want to get the pricing. Right now, I kind of like 260.10 in all honesty, but I don't want to prematurely take it just because we're still in that downtrend. So we have probably another 5-minute candle at least to see where we're going to be at that. Am I in SLV? I'm not in SLV, Donna. I don't have any positions, shares, options, leaps, nothing like that. But we can definitely take a look at it. We are bullish right now in SLV, right? If we're drawing a uptrend line, this would be the line that we have. We're pretty much sitting almost right at that long-term uptrend. We are above that 200 moving average. Targets, I don't know, because again, we could break out of this, and this almost looks like a failed bull flag. So failed bull flag, came up, retested it. Again, I'm still bullish in it. We haven't broke that uptrend line. For me, I'd probably take, if you're taking leaps, maybe like, I don't know, $28, $29. And this way you have potential to break past that strike price with plenty of time on it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm going through it as far as like the analysis and things, as far as what I'm looking for specifically. Like Johnny mentioned, every one of us, all the moderators have different plays. Where Tony tries to get in on entries, he tries to catch a lot of the retest. I'm looking for a lot of the, so he's just buying low, trying to be the trap on trades. CRM, we just went through the analysis again. I do like it for the breakout. I think the selling's probably over. Can we hit the highs of the day? Possibly. I just know for me, the risk reward on the trade is a little bit not in my favor as much as where I would like it to be. However, I would be bullish right now. The fact that we're breaking out of there. We do have 1, 2, 3. This would be the 4th candle in a row that is bullish. So we'll see what happens when it breaks out. But I'd be looking for, after 4 candles in a row, I'd probably be looking for a little bit of a pullback further, maybe try to get it in this range if I could. And if it doesn't trigger me, it doesn't trigger me. But again, it's just that the risk to reward is a little tight for me. I'd much rather have a risk to reward that I could get 2 Rs prior to breaking out new highs a day. So something within the pattern. Realistically, if I could get out by like 228.96, and that would be my 2 Rs, I would love the CRM trade. For that would fit my trading plan specifically. Baba is very interesting. I like Baba a lot, but we'll see. We're close to that downtrend break, but we haven't quite got it yet. So a little bit more just consolidation, hesitation, breaking out of that downtrend would be phenomenal. All right. And we do, so I think, is this the last week of January? this is the last week, right? So we have the new mentor group starting. Let me see if I can pull up the Real Life Trading website. Mentor. Oh wait. I guess if I just type mentor into Google, it doesn't have the same effect if I go to Real Life Trading first. All right, so let me share this screen as we keep looking. So new share. All right, so this is the Real Life Trading website. So this is the link for free week. So again, if you guys have anybody that you think could be interested, or just throw it out on social media because you never know, that would be the link to do that. Otherwise, the mentoring groups themselves. So I think we do have some spots left, but if you click on this mentoring tab up here, and then you scroll down, these are the four of us that have groups starting on in February. So the one I'm doing is Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and Falco looks sold out. Tony does a lot with like credit spreads, options, things like that. So he is sold out currently, and then we have Tracy. She's up in Canada, all the way up in Canada. Just phenomenal trader. I do the Real Life Trading Pivot podcast with her as well. But she would be on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. But again, and these are the four of us that are doing this month. Next month might be either some of the same of us, or we might have some different mentors in the group as well. We also have like Thomas Wong, who's awesome, Stephen King, phenomenal trader. There's my boy Johnny Guarco. You guys know him very well. So yeah, very cool. So we have that's where you go for the mentoring groups. With that, it is 8 weeks. You have a group of 6 people that just meet once a week for an hour, and we discuss the market patterns, different styles of trading, different setups to look for, what stocks could have potential breakouts. We could take some trades together as a group as well. So we do have all of that in the group as well to take a look at. All right, let's pull back the charts. Thanks. Thank you. UPS looks like it completed the whole wave count. All right, we'll take a look at that. UPS, the ups. Yep. So UPS looks like it was. Let's see where we're at on the daily on UPS. So UPS could be an interesting trade in general for like a swing trade potentially. We are at all-time highs. So just keep that in mind when you're getting into any trade. However, it did fall a decent amount. So there's definitely some room before the all-time highs, and I wouldn't even be considering the all-time highs. I'd probably be looking to take most at 175.39 on a longer-term basis. You do have a nice support on it, right? Even if we extend this line to the left, you're going all the way back to here. So every time it's been bouncing off this line before, we've seen a nice up move. This, to me, on the daily chart. So right now you have some volume coming in on this candle. So any close above this candle would probably mean keep it on your charts for tomorrow. So if we do break higher and close at least today at this range, we're above this candle. So that means that there's on this particular candle with the volume that came in, there was a decent amount of sellers on this day. Same thing here. You're getting a little bit of a volume spike on this candle, meaning that you have more people on the short side or selling in those two candles. So if we get, and then this was pretty much just all inside this move. So everyone's just kind of hanging out. Now we're getting this break. If we close up here, that means those people are trapped that are shorting, thinking, hey, maybe we go down to this 200 moving average of 147 or below, or whatever the case is. So now that the fact that we're getting up in this range, they're probably gonna have to start closing their shorts and buy to close is how they do this. So they're buying back their shares. So we'll see if this one closes for a day trade purpose. Right now, it's already missed a move. You did have a good bullish engulfing candle here. There's nothing really that I would have, for me, even if I saw this trade at, this is 11:05 Eastern, besides the fact that we're kind of pushing up into some kind of support resistance, probably wouldn't be a trade just because it's at this point of the day, it was just kind of just going sideways, not really doing too much. This would be a reversal signal here. But again, with this reversal signal, the best I could have done is probably pre-market had my stops right below that pre-market, right around 159, let's say, with the breakout of that bullish engulfing candle. So 159.88. But the risk to reward probably not that great for me because I'd be buying right at the 200, the 50, and you have the VWAP up there as well. So had I known that we're going to break through, yes, and break through highs of the day, yes, looks good. But there's so much there where I wouldn't feel comfortable risking the R for me. Let's see, but yeah, so that one to me, if I was to get in there, that would be just me chasing, I think, the trade. That'd be myself a FOMO. And again, on the daily chart, it does look nice. It is at a point of probably some kind of resistance, but again, if it closes up in this range or even a little bit higher, I would be looking for UPS to continue its breakout as far as tomorrow or the rest of the week. All right. I just realized I think I'm still in Workhorse. Is Workhorse doing anything? I completely forgot I was in this trade. Yep, not really giving me a place to move my stops yet. What I really want at this point is for us to, it does look like we're starting to kind of consolidate. So again, this is probably wave 3, 4. This entire move is probably 5, A, B, C. So consolidation. So at this point, and not after the wave count, it doesn't mean it's always going to reverse, but it's definitely a good place for it to reverse. So I'd be looking for one more break higher. Oops. Let me change this over. I'd be looking for one more break higher of this pivot here. Consolidate. This is going to be the new resistance for it. So if we do get a nice close over it, I'll be able to kind of move my stops up at least a little bit more. And again, the whole, whether I hit the trade or not, I already know I can't lose more than an R on the trade. I've already moved my stop up a little bit. But the fact that I'd be able to move it a little bit more is definitely a good sign. I got into Woodshed. What's up, my man? Woodshed's in the house. FDX entered 250. Yep. So without even looking at the chart, UPS probably moves similar to UPS. I actually think FedEx day trade wise has a little bit more movement and consistency in the flow a little bit. So you got into FDX wave count. This is probably 1. This is probably 2. This is probably 3, 4. And we closed probably wave 5 right there. So yeah, FedEx looks good as a swing. So your stop is at 240. Perfect. Yep. So you're taking right underneath this pivot. And your entry is 252. At least on the daily, that'd probably be a little aggressive for me. But the fact that we're just coming out and breaking, it looks good. So yeah, I would say FedEx is probably getting ready to start to move. We are consolidating outside of that downtrend break. Swing not day. Yep. Can we take a look at Pepsi? There's a PEP. Pepsi. We'll see how this one closes today. Right at the 200 moving average. You do have a nice high wave with some volume here. So really for this trade to work, you want this to break 148. However, you do have a nice bullish engulfing candle. For me, I'll see where this one closes today and maybe look to take a retest tomorrow, some kind of sell-off, or even today to enter the trade roughly at, so if you want to set a swing trade on this, you can. This candle, again, it's not really closed yet, so it would be technically aggressive at this point, but 139.76 entry I'd probably go right underneath that candle. Because if it starts to break this, the trade's probably going to go a little bit lower and against you, but maybe like 137.26 on Pepsi for a swing trade. On the up movement for the stock, let's say this could be potentially a 1, 2. I think this is probably 3. This move is technically not over. So I can see probably another breakdown, maybe closer to that VWAP, something like that. That would be wave 4, and then one more move higher I'd be looking for. So I'd be still in it bullish, but I wouldn't enter the trade at this point. However, you did have a nice high wave candle. I do like the opening high wave candles. So something like this, usually in the very first candle of the day, there's always going to be volume. The last candle of the day, always volume. But with Pepsi, this is a nice high wave candle. So it opened up. It did. It wasn't really a gap up. It was actually a gap down. So actually more of a retest than anything. But the bulls are interested in this 200 moving average, I'm sure. So this is some kind of indecision where it opened. We're not sure if it's going to go low or higher. So you could have set a trade, which I didn't look at Pepsi all day. It's Pepsi's not one that I just typically look at for no reason. I just don't. But taking the break out of that again, especially because this high wave is red, means even within this candle, there's still more selling than buying. Right? It opened up here, closed here, so there's definitely shorts on the table. And then you could probably take a stop and almost play this candle exactly. So 137.50. So that would have been my entry. I'd try to get in this trade roughly around 138.28. So I would have probably got triggered either here or on this candle. And then the fact that we broke out and started closing above this candle, I would be able to move my stops to roughly this point, 137.94. So again, I'm losing less than an R, and in this case, very little, very less than an R. If the trade ends up just going against me at some point. So that would have been my move. You probably to our target is probably close to the top of this move right here. So anybody taking that trade, that would be the 2R target, and it makes sense that that would be the spot where that starts to reverse. But yeah, I can see it probably after either this pullback bouncing off this support line, or if we do get another pullback, one more that kind of retests this line a little bit. UPS on the minute chart. Yep. I'm not a minute chart trader at all, mainly because I enjoy good health, and the UPS and trading anything off a 1 minute chart would give me just solid cardiac arrest. So again, you could pick your entries off it. I know there's even in the community, there's very good traders on the 1 minute. During the day at the very open, I'll put the chart on 3 minutes. But as the day progresses, I'm looking for the 5 minute. The reason for a few reasons. One, especially if I'm on the microphone, for me to set up the trade, do an analysis on it, say, okay, cool, I like the entry here. This would be my stop, XYZ, whatever the case is. I know I'm still on the 5 minute, but this would be very tough to do live on the microphone. And then anytime we take a trade, I put it in the chat. I also throw it into Slack, so everybody in Slack can see the official trade if they want to take a look at the stock, if it fits their plan, if they want to take it or not. On this one, let me see. So anytime this comes in, you can't really count these technically as waves because it's just moving sideways at this point. So anything in here is just channeling. So that would kind of discredit the waves. You when you're looking for waves, you want something more consistent. And the more you look for the waves, the more you'll see just the fluid patterns in them, right? As opposed to this, which you're just kind of in chop city. If you see something trading sideways or even in some kind of daily pattern that's just an inside candle, you try to want to stay away from those stocks as you're day trading, just because you're going to get burned more times than you're not. It would take a lot for it to move for you to hit your 2Rs, and you're just hanging out in the trades and getting impatient, moving your stops way too much, and then eventually you're just either taking small wins, maybe small losses, maybe full R losses, maybe you catch it at the bottom of the channel, you make a full R or something like that. But it's really just kind of chop zone. So I would only start counting the waves roughly, probably. Again, this is a minute chart, and it's just not really pulled back. It kind of just started taking off. So I'd be watching it. But yeah, I don't see, I wouldn't, for me, looking at the waves, I wouldn't see like a pure, and you could make a case, like you could even say like, hey, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. You get some kind of ABC and kind of continue a new pattern. So something like that would be still within the move, but you haven't really seen a big, decent pull off on it yet. All right, let's see what else we have. Fire Eye is starting to work. I wanted one more bigger dip. Even the market, I wanted a little bit more of a dip, but right now we look like we're continuing bullish still. AMD's starting to break out to run as well. what questions do you guys have for me, either for about real life trading in general, um, the entire group, the community, the markets, anything that you guys want to take a look at as far as analysis wise goes, or anything that I mentioned or Johnny mentioned earlier that maybe you guys are unclear on or want me to run through again? I have no problem doing that as well. Again, we're just kind of the market itself. I mean, if we're looking at a daily picture, Johnny had a great analysis of, hey, it's going to retest the gap, probably around the open, and his point was like 379, I think. So it got pretty much right there, and then just started bouncing again. So good on Johnny for that. SPY. Let's pull up the daily chart for the SPY just to see where we're at. So yep, we are pushing a longer term uptrend. We're very much so at the top of this trend, putting in a little bit of a high wave at this point, and again, we'll see where it closes. But to stay bullish, I mean, 384.95. There's not a lot of profit taking, so we could eventually see some kind of a little bit bigger pullbacks, dips. Right now, though, I'm still bullish. Just buy the dips. The charting on the daily doesn't say to start freaking out yet, which is nice. Edward says, what are the top 5 stocks you're looking to accumulate for the next bigger 15% dip? Good question. So it depends on what your plan is, and what account you're putting it in. So when I'm trading, I have multiple accounts. So I have a day trade account, a swing trade account, and a long-term account. So the answer would probably be different for all of them. In the long-term account, things that if the market starts dipping, I'm looking for things that have good dividends and are solid companies that I think are going to be around again for the next 10 years. So it's a very simplistic, stupid plan for the long term. But things like Coca-Cola, I like, even around this range that we're at now. Coca-Cola looks just phenomenal to me. So I do have shares long term. I do have a swing trade on it as well. But just the fact that, first of all, it's Coca-Cola. So would you guys all agree Coca-Cola is going to be around in 10 years? I don't care how much Beyond Meat burgers that they're going to be eating, and Coca-Cola is the unhealthiest choice of beverage you could have. Yeah, I still think Coca-Cola is going to be around, whether they start buying other companies that fit the trends or whatever the case is. Yes, 100%. They have, I think, just under a 5% dividend right now. It's great for cleaning toilets. Yeah, I saw that video on Facebook and YouTube. It cleans out my insides just as well. Yeah, so it's not going anywhere. It has a nice dividend to it. It has a good upside, even if it reaches $54. The high, when was this? This is February, so right before the coronavirus pandemic kicked in. It hit 60. Do I think we could probably see $60 in the next 10 years? Yeah, 100%. When I'm buying for the long term, in your broker, you could just activate what's called DRIP. So it stands for Dividend Reinvestment Program. So what I do for a long-term basis, I set how much do I want to put into the long-term for that year. Whatever that number is, I divide by 12, right? So every single month, there's 12 months of the year. So I'm dividing the total amount I want to put in, and whatever that number is, that's my shopping list. So I could buy that, whatever I want, as long as I think, again, the company's going to be around in 10 years, because I don't plan on selling them. Unless the only way I would is if something fundamentally changes. So like Kodak wants to go into making I buy them thinking they're going to make cameras and film, and all of a sudden they're selling medical equipment, and that's their long-term goals. Then I'm like, all right, well, the company's fundamentally different from where I wanted. So in that case, I'll sell. But otherwise, I'm really just holding it with the drip. That's instead of you getting the dividends in your account, you're getting the buyback. So they're buying back that dividend amount in shares, and oftentimes it's going to be partials. So if you have 20 shares of Coca-Cola, the next time that they have dividends coming out, you'll see you're automatically getting, now instead of 20 shares, you have 20.1 shares, whatever the case is. Why that's important is because if you take the cash, and again, this is a long-term account, so I'm not looking to use it for anything very soon at all. But what it's going to do is accumulate positions. I want to own Coca. I want to be the owner of Coca-Cola, and I want to get as many shares as I possibly can. So even if I was buying shares at 52.30, that's fine. It's still a good company. It's not going anywhere. It still has good upside potential. The dividend's still there and exists. Am I really freaking out about this move down to 48, wherever we're at, 48, 71? No. Would I be down in the position? Yes. But what happens? They come out with the earnings. Those dividends are now buying back shares at this price. So inherently, I'm getting a much better position. I'm holding for the long term anyway, so I don't really care about the real small intraday moves. When the stock does recover and eventually hits 60, I already have more shares. The next thing is February comes, I have a shopping budget again. So if I want to buy more shares around this $50 or $48, $50 range, whatever I can now add shares. I'm reducing my cost of my overall investment into Coca-Cola. So now I have a much better position to move when we do hit $60 within 10 years. I've got the dividends that are coming in. And the important thing is those dividends. So next quarter, when more dividends come out, those dividends are now earning more dividends as well. So if you were to take the cash and say, cool, I'm going to wait until my dividends equal $48 and then I'll buy a share, you're missing out on all of the time of getting the extra compound interest on those dividends. So for the long term, I'm looking for, like, if we get a 50% drop in the market or whatever people might be predicting, whatever the case is, honestly, it doesn't matter to me. So I'm looking for the good companies. Apple, Coca-Cola, ExxonMobil, I picked up at the end of December to start adding to the long term, but that's 8.5% dividends. So again, even the high of what this is showing on my screen was like $67. Right now it's $75. Again, I think it was at 100. I have a potential 100% move in the stock, plus I'm earning 8.5% dividend, which is going back to buy additional shares. So with the long-term account, it doesn't really matter so much. You're not really worried about the dips, almost, especially if you're in the beginning stages of starting the account. If the market tanks 50% tomorrow and I've already bought positions, that's great for me because I'm now able to get shares cheaper. So just the longer you're holding the positions with the extra dividends, things like that, almost the less risky the actual investment becomes for you. And when you're doing it like that, it's the first year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, you don't really see too much. You can see some ups and downs, you're buying positions. Where it really gets crazy is after 10 years. So if you're holding positions for 10 years, you're getting the dividends kicked in. After 10 years, the positions that you have just jump tremendously, right, from your initial investments. And it just continues on. Just the growth chart is just crazy off that. So for the long term, yeah, any of the good companies, like I said, Apple, ExxonMobil, Coca-Cola, the bigger guys. The shorter term ones, like swing trades or pyramid building, it depends on what crashes. If it's a good company and the market's just tanking, those are going to go with it. So I'm just looking for good companies on just big pullbacks. So off the top of my head, I wouldn't know, but even like if Baba pulls back, Teladoc would be another one. Tesla, if Tesla has a big drop in it, I'll look to add shares for swings and stuff like that as well. Darian says, how do I get so many charts on Thinkorswim? I'm using the app for Thinkorswim. So basically, within Thinkorswim, there's ways that you could set up your charts. I'm trying to think. I've done it so long ago that I almost forget how to do it. But it's something in the settings. It's on this is the flexible grid, and this is when I click charts. So for charts, I have them all hooked to the different same indicator. So by clicking this button here, I could link different charts. So even if I wanted like this screen and this screen to match, this one and this one to match, I could set those that way. But yeah, yeah, Google. There's definitely tutorials on how to do it. Thomas Wong, I don't think he's in this room right now, but he's like the master of it. It is very simple. I just kind of forget how to do it, to be all honest. Oh, it's just this one right here. So this little button up top, it's got the 6-panel window. So you can click this one and then choose how many charts that you want. And then from there, you can set different time frames, and then you just go into like setup and save your setup. So on this one, I keep 8 charts on this one. And this one I keep all different stocks that I want to watch, either for the day or something I'm just looking at long term because it's in the portfolio or whatever the case. So workhorse, did I get the break and close above that pivot? I did, so I could actually move my stop a little bit. For me, cool. So now I can lose less. And if we start getting a bigger breakout, I have some orders and things up there to trigger. All right, let's see what else we can take a look at. Yep, type. Oh yeah, you could either ask Thomas Wong or Woodshed Williams. Woodshed Williams is just a brainiac on everything he does. It's incredible. He's Oz from Wizard of Oz. He's the guy behind the curtains. All right. So FireEye is just moving slowly. Baba is starting to look interesting. So we do have, all right. So Baba, I don't mind if we take maybe possibly an official trade as long as the numbers work for Baba. We know SPY is breaking out. Baba's still kind of consolidating. It did retest with this volume that came in. It's not massive volume on it, but you do have this wick of people selling off. So I think if this one wants to continue bullish, we would have to take a break of this candle. We know the waves are pretty much in. So 260.65. Let's see what the risk to reward would be on this. 260.65. And this would be a pivot. I could probably tighten it a little bit and go 259.04. 259.04. All right, and for 2R target, we need 263.87. So let's pull up Baba. We'll see where the VWAP is, all that good stuff as well. So 264.65 would be a 2R target. So we don't need new highs of the day. So right in there, which is nice. And for our 1R target, we would need 226.26. I mean, 262.26. So we could get definitely a full R. So I'm going to take this as an official trade. The only thing that I'm worried about is obviously we have the 50 and we have the 50 moving average and the 200 moving average on the 5 minute. So official day trade, Baba 260.65. And again, I have no clue if the trade is actually going to work or not. I do know that the most I'm going to lose on the trade would be 1R. And my entire goal of the trade is not how much I could win, but how much I could not lose, right? So if I am able to move my stops up and losing less than an R on the trade, then that's a win. All right. Because then I know another trade I take, all I need is 1R and I'm profitable again. Let me see, Baba. This would be a stop limit order because I'm trying to buy it higher than the current price. And let's see if this one goes through. I know I got workhorse as well. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So that trade's out there. We'll see if we get triggered. But again, we did count the waves. It's there. We have broken out of this downtrend. So extend to the right. I don't know which one it is. That's the wrong one. There we go. So we'll see what happens on this trade. Again, I know that for a fact, this area where the 50 and 200s meeting is going to be a point where there's going to be some kind of resistance. So what I might do is just take 10% off there, right? I want to, because there's only two ways to not lose a full R. One would be to increase your stops, which I could drive stops up if I wanted to, but I don't want to get too over aggressive with the stops. Or take some partials. If I take 10% off, there's no way I could lose 1R and I could remain a little bit looser with the stops on the trade. The next point would be probably that 1R target, which is actually right below VWAP. And then I know that's going to be another area. So I'm going to probably take like 30% off at that point, roughly. And then if we can get that break above it, I'm going to see if I can hold it for that 2-hour target. Did that today with space. Got bounced for a small profit. There you go, man. It doesn't matter. Again, if it's a huge win, great. That's phenomenal. If you're getting a small win on a trade, that's a win. That counted. All the small wins eventually add up, right? So if you're taking small profits here and there, and you're not losing on trades, if you come out a winner on a trade, over the long term, you're going to be just wildly successful. Bounce right back up. Yeah, I know. That's usually the case. So space, if we look at space on the did I enter the targets on OCO? No. So for me, I'll get into that in a second because we're not triggered on Baba. So I'll go through space first. Space right now has a nice double bottom. Kind of looks a little similar to the market, except probably not as strong right now. The market came down, did those same two little things. Here's our pullback. The market took off. This one's just kind of consolidating, which makes sense. We're right at the 200 moving average. We have the VWAP right above it, the 50 right above it. So we could start to see potentially some kind of break, but the market itself looks a little stronger than space at this point. On the 30-minute, yeah, it's not horrible. I mean, this would have been some kind of bull trap up here. So a bull trap is when everyone gets really pumped, excited. This is the spot. They're going, cool, here's where this candle opened. Space is just going to run to the moon. I'm going to get in if it breaks the high of the day. So a bunch of people are entering their orders right around here. As soon as they get in, they're instantly trapped, right? People that are in this entire move, they're like, well, yeah, I'm profitable. I want to make sure I lock in some profit. They start selling when you're trying to enter the trade. So you get bull trapped on it, like thinking, hey, this is going to be great. Then it comes down here again. You have your pre-market levels. I know some traders turn off the pre-market. I leave it on all the time. I just use it for levels. It doesn't really bother me, but that's your preference. People are like, if this trade gets down there, I'm going to be out. It broke. This is what I would consider a bear trap, right? So all the bears are either trying to short below the pre-market or saying, I'm in way too much pain, I'm getting out. They're selling, and then you have new people coming in just to buy it back. So that's a bear trap. So right now we're in there. So it still looks good. Probably just going to consolidate. I'd probably be a little bit more bullish based on the daily chart. So I'd be bullish probably up to, I'd probably be taking some right around 36.27, and then probably look to take the rest at the highs again. That's where you got stopped out. Yep. For the OCO orders. So for you guys that might not know, that means one cancels the other. One cancels the other. You should have those in every trade. I actually enter my orders on manually in, like, some people go through Thinkorswim and you can just place your orders. You do like Active Trader and things like that. You can place your orders. I don't do it that way just because I don't know. I just learned it the other way. So I actually have like TD Ameritrade open with me as well. So once I get triggered in, so I just put my entry into the stock. Once I get triggered into it, then I go in, click it, and just put my OCO at that point. So for me, once I get triggered on the trade, then I set it up, and it's in kind of like Workhorse. So Workhorse, I have I'm taking some partials there, and there's my stop that I'm moving up. But for me, it's just I don't know why. It's probably easier just to set some kind of bracket, but I just never have. All right, cool. So we're still in trade, Baba. And again, the reason why I like this trade, we're taking Baba if it breaks out, meaning that anybody in this bull trap, this is a huge bull trap right here. Right? So anybody that said, cool, it's consolidating, let's take this breakout. If it breaks any of these candles, this hammer came in, they're taking the break of this, they're instantly trapped in this trade. So most likely what I think is going to happen is we probably come down, we retest somewhere in this range. And if we extend this out a little bit more to the right, probably somewhere right around this range would be a decent spot for the reverse. But if it doesn't ever reverse and take us above this bull trap, I'm perfectly fine. We just won't get triggered in the trade. So I'm looking to take the breakout on the trade, and if it goes lower, fine. I don't lose anything on that trade. Man, I like having so many people in the room, all walks of life coming here, trading, learning the markets. This is exciting stuff. It's very cool. Yeah, this is definitely. I mean, free week is awesome because there's a lot of people that just the interesting thing, like people's perspective on the market. And I think it's mainly because everybody in their life growing up, anytime anyone's talked about the market, they're like, "No, don't trade the market. You're gonna lose, right?" You have that like, you have like, I'm gonna put my money in the market. The big dogs are gonna take it, and I'm gonna have to get a different job doing something else. I do mentor groups, yep, and I do have slots available. So my next one is the next round starts in February, the first week of February, so next week, and mine's on Monday at 8 p.m. So if you go to reallifetrading.com, click on the mentor section, you'd be able to check it out. I think me and Tracy have openings right now, so you could click on either of us, whichever fits your schedule best. But yeah, you just everybody has that mentality of I'm gonna be in the market and I'm just gonna be losing. But when you control your risk, when you start to understand what the sentiment of the candles are, to be able to look at this and say, yeah, that's a bull trap. So I don't want to try to just jump into a trade. I know there's instantly people trapped. That gives me an opportunity to kind of move my thing around. With this candle, so we did break down. We did get the volume. I could potentially move my entry a little bit lower, just knowing that within this candle, a lot of people got stopped out of the trade. And the volume that came in is heavier on the sell side. So I think that if this candle breaks, we're probably good. And now we're probably buying it a little bit high on the trade. I'm not going to move it just for the sake of I have to move everything in Slack and things like that. Um, and I don't want to aggressively get in. We get another bull trap of weak bulls in there. So I'm going to keep my entry the same. Can I probably go lower? Yes. Will I get better risk reward? Yes. But off of the initial analysis, we're still good. We haven't got stopped out. It hasn't come down to a point where a normal stop out would be. At that point, I'll probably cancel. Or if it wants to just consolidate in this range after the breakout, and I see another clear opportunity, then maybe I'll move my entries or setups around. But from my initial analysis, I know I can still make potentially 2 Rs, at least 1 R prior to VWAP, so I'll still hold kind of strong on that. Yeah, man. Yeah, would love to have you in the group for sure. If you want to come in, and I don't know if you're a new trader or been trading for a while, whatever the case, but we make sure that we, again, because you only have 6 people in the group, we'll go through your actual trading plan, make sure that it's set correctly, that you're taking the appropriate risks, that if you have a bad day in the market, you know exactly where you're going to stop, or week or month, things like that as well. And then we'll go through different setups, patterns, things to look at volume, look at candles, sentiments, and then probably set some group trades up as well. Do you draw your trend lines from the daily chart, or do you draw them from the 5, 15, 30 charts? All of them. I do it all of them. It depends on it depends on the groups, Darian. They would be for 2 months, so it's 8 weeks. It depends on what kind of trade I'm looking for. So if I'm looking for somebody throw a random stock in the market in the chat pane, and we'll pull it up and just kind of go through it. Trucks, never heard of it. I love it. TR. Oh, here it comes, all the stocks. You animals, you. All right, so dog I know, at least we've traded that one. CCIV, I know that's probably Patrick's baby over there. So, but first one I saw was TROX. So we'll take a look at this. So based on the sentiment as to what I want to do, first thing I want to look at is the daily chart. So I could easily draw a trend line. It's going this direction. To me, is that bullish or bearish? That looks relatively bullish. This stock, which I've never heard of in my life, looks bullish. No clue what they do. I want to say something tropical based off the ticker, but I'm guaranteed I'm wrong. So I know that chemicals, all right, I guess. So trucks is definitely in a bullish pattern, right? You have anytime it's been bouncing off of this support line, we've been just buying it up. that's the first trend line I'm doing. Then I want to see. So if I'm trading on a swing trade or investment or something like that, I want to see a trend line that goes like this because I know it's bullish if I'm buying it. If I'm thinking I want to short it in a longer term basis, obviously I want that. And if it relatively flat, it's probably not a great trade for swing or investing or anything like that, just because you're going to sit in it for a long time. It's not going anywhere. Again, anytime you're entering trades and it's just on this horizontal type pattern, it's not going to move that much, right? Um, so therefore, this one, yeah, it looks bullish. Now, if I want to say where's the best opportunity for me to get in, um, if I was planning a swing trade on this, maybe it would be, we have a high wave, not too crazy volume, looks like some kind of resistance. Probably I'd want to break 1730 if it's going to continue the run. Keep in mind that it has been bullish. Anybody in this range, they're all profitable. So you might see a sell the rip type thing. So if the market starts ripping, people are going to, if that stock starts ripping, people are going to look to tend to take their profits. I'm not the all-time high trader. I don't like to trade when things have already run. So if I'm pulling up a longer term support resistance, so I can see a support around here. Honestly, we're probably pulling into some kind of support. I'd be looking for a pullback. Again, I don't want to short it. Just because I don't want to go long doesn't necessarily mean I want to short it. But I know it's pulling into a relatively longer term on a weekly basis, a relatively longer term spot where it potentially could bounce. So if this stock bounces to me and starts breaking, I'd probably want to try to catch it. I could see a new support roughly around 1448 would be a good entry. Or you have the 200 right here. So if you catch it off the 200, 1214, something like that would be a relatively good entry for a swing trade, right? So I drew it on the daily. I know where I'm at. So for a day trade, unless it did something crazy and gapped up tomorrow, I don't know if I'd want to trade it bullish because I don't know how much room that really has to run at this point. If it has a bigger pullback to 1214, something like that, I could do that. But if I'm looking to set up a day trade, if I say, hey, yeah, I think this is bullish, we're going to continue higher, then I could draw my trend line. This is a 5-minute chart because I'm playing it on a much smaller time frame. So I'm looking for where the stock could go. Here, I'm like, we're kind of running into resistance. I'm not too crazy about getting into a day trade on it right now. But if I did want to day trade it, I could kind of look and go, all right, this is wave 1. That's 2. This is probably 3. This is 4. This is 5. Here's our little consolidation. So the ABCs are over here somewhere. And then I'd probably be looking to take a break out here, which in this certain case, that would have been a nice entry. And I'd probably be able to put a relatively tight stop on this one. It doesn't look like it doesn't have a lot of volume. When you're day trading, you really want something to have usually typically like 2 million in volume or above. All right. Let's start someone in real life trading group, David. I don't really know that references to where we're going. I'm trading from an IRA account, 11K, can't short. I can buy puts and calls. Which trading room or mentor would be best for swing trading or day trading options? Well, the ones that are available, I mean, Tony's good on credit spreads. Credit spreads, you do need a larger account typically to do credit spreads with. With credit spreads, you're putting a lot of money out. You have a lot of risk, not risk, but if you lose a trade, you have potential to lose an okay amount, still relatively defined, but a much larger loss than probably your normal R. However, your win ratio is like 95%. So you have a much higher opportunity of winning. But again, you're putting out more for that. Falco, he's sold out in his group. He does do options a lot as well. I'll go through options as far as pretty much like selling puts, selling calls, buying calls, things like that. But usually when we're talking trading, you have 11,000 in the IRA. Do you really need, number one, it's your IRA, right? So if that account is for retirement, options are relatively risky. Even with an account, I'm only really trading, like if I trade options, I'm only risking I have like the max in option plays would be like 5% on my account. especially if it is a retirement account. You much rather go with stocks over options. I know the appeal to stocks is, hey, I can make like 1,000% on this trade. Yeah, but you could also lose your account, and that wouldn't be good for your retirement. Um, so yeah, with the trades, I'd probably say you should stick more with stocks. In all honesty, you could do very nasty things with 11,000 in the market. Especially, you're probably going to be hit with, if you're in the U.S. at least, with the pattern day trade rule. So with that, you could only trade if you have anywhere in the U.S. If your account is under 25,000, you can't really day trade to the same sense right now that we're day trading, where we could be in and out of stocks 100 times a day if we want to. Probably not a good idea to do so, but you could get 3 day trades every 5 rolling day period. So just keep that in mind. So you could technically still do some day trades, but you probably want to be leaning a little bit more on the swing trades. And then again, if you have time on your side, you could turn your account very relatively quick compared to just buying and holding stocks by swing trading, where you're not risking really as much. So in my group, and Tracy, I'm not sure if she gets too much into options or not. And I'm not saying that for any other reason than I just don't know. But she's a diesel trader, and I know she could go through. I know she knows options, but it just depends on, I guess, who's in the group and what questions that we have and stuff like that. So we could definitely cover options, especially if we're doing like naked puts, naked calls, things like that, or selling puts, selling calls, some kind of like bull put spread type situations. But a lot of it will revolve around the main thing. The main thing for us, or for me at least, I want to make sure that people in my group can identify at least when a good portion to buy a stock or sell a stock, how to take partials, how to know what your risk is. You could easily say, cool, Tesla, $900 stock, pretty expensive for my certain account, but you could trade it with options as well. So if you're doing your numbers and you're saying, I need 100 shares of even Coca-Cola, doesn't have to be Tesla, you could buy one option, right? You're limiting your risk side of things, but your play would work out relatively similar to if you actually had used buying power for 100 shares. Nancy says no, she hasn't touched options yet, so she doesn't get too far into options. Nancy was in Tracy's mentor group. On Ameritrade, can you day trade unlimited as long as you don't have margin? To an extent, you can. So they say that you can. The one thing is that with doing that, because you don't have margin, yes, you can technically trade as much as you want. How you won't be able to short. I don't believe you would be able to short unless you have the margin on your account. But you still have to wait for the funds to settle. So typically it still takes like 3 days for the funds to settle. So let's say you have 20,000 in your account, right? So you're still under the $25,000 portion. If you're taking a trade that would use 20,000 in buying power, you'd still have to wait typically usually 3 days, maybe 2 days in some brokers, depending, but you have to wait for 3 days for it to settle before you take your next trade. So you could trade, if you're saying I'm going to take 2,000 on this play, 2,000 this play, 2,000 this play, as long as you're not using the full balance for it to settle, then you can technically trade. She's making massive orders since she started. Who's that, Tracy? Yeah, Tracy's a beast. Oh, Leah? Yeah, Leah is a nutcase. Leah, I forget when she started, but yeah, she trades like every time she posts anything. She was always in like Blink, which is BLNK, things that just have like massive moves. AMC. I don't know if she took the AMC play on Friday, but she's like, yeah, look at AMC, and I'm like, well, it doesn't fit anything in my plan. And then she said it around here, and it's like, oh, cool, I just made like another 40%. I'm like, what? Stop doing that to me. All right, so Baba, we still have Baba set up. We're not triggered in it. We did have that pullback. This is the retest of this downtrend line that we drew from earlier. So this is the support resistance. Again, I don't know if the trade will work or not. I have no idea. However, with this move, this does give us another pivot. So if we do get triggered into this trade, and again, I'd have to wait for this candle to close, which is another minute and a half, something like that, minute and 12 seconds. Um, Technically, I could probably lower the stop at least now to this point. It's only a little bit of difference, and you're getting a little bit more risky by doing that because, again, this is where people started selling last time. So if it starts to break out here, I think we have a good shot of a good run. And because this pivot came in, it gives me an opportunity. If we get a good close, I could probably aggressively move the stops up to this range once we get triggered in. So we're taking a decent amount of risk off the table, almost half an hour. If we get triggered in and we get a good close up there, otherwise I'll let it just kind of do its thing. We are, again, breaking out of that trend, so we'll see what happens with it. She was in GME too. Yeah, she's. She did just buy a new house in Miami though, so I mean, just do what Leah does. That's my motto. It's amazing to hear all the stories from traders. In all honesty, like Patrick, you're one of them for sure. Being able to quit your job and trade full time because you're just killing it. That's awesome to me. I mean, the amount of you guys could check real life trading YouTube channel, the amount of videos, the amount of time that goes in from all the guys here and girls at real life trading, the amount of back end stuff that we do, the amount of just everything, just to hear the stories of like people like Patrick Sullivan saying, yeah, I'm able to quit my job. I have this other guy, I don't want to mention his name, but he's probably in, I think, the second or third mentor group with me at this point. Right. So he's done a couple of them with me. And the first time we had the very first meeting, I remember him saying like, yeah, it's not that I hate work. It's just, I don't really want to do it. I'd rather just trade, things like that. And he's like, my plan is to retire by March. This was only 6 months ago. So he's just been focusing on the market, he's still working full time. Last meeting I think I had with him on Thursday, I'm like, dude, so how's your plan to retire? How's your retirement plan going? He's like, yeah, man, I March, I'm retiring. Like his account is built up enough. He's got enough decent amount of money in the accounts to be able to do that just from trading. And he had like, once you get to that certain level, there's other ways to either put some kind of investment toward, real estate or something like that, where now you have that guaranteed just passive income coming as you're trading. So it's not like you have to clear out all your accounts at the end of every day. You could have some swing trades, some long-term trades, some real estate, some investment opportunities, things like that in your account that will be able to just kind of booster you up to cover whatever your last salary was. So you're really kind of taking away a lot of the risk of even trading and just the sentiment of everybody gets into the market and just loses everything. All right, so it looks like I did get triggered into Baba. Phil, are you with me on this one, Darian? Let's go, baby. Let's do it. No? Ah. Well, who knows? We'll see how the trade works out. All right, so let me pull up Baba, and then we'll kind of set up targets. Still learning. Hey, man. Also, when you're trading, don't be afraid to just come in and paper trade. Like, there's nothing wrong with sitting there paper trading, learning the markets. I'd much rather have lost fake money that didn't exist and had no meaning to my life than being able to just go in with real money and learn from the school of hard knocks. All right, so I'm going to take 261.36. Let me see where my 2R target is. Okay, so 262.36 would be 2Rs. So filled on Baba, looking to take 10% at 261.36 and another 30% at, let's see, where can we get to? Probably the 2R target, which would be the 1R target, 262.26. 262.26. And the rest trying to hold for 2Rs, which is 263.87. And whether we get there or not, or if we get any partials filled or taken out, is absolutely beyond me. I have no idea. And again, I don't want to move my targets aggressively yet. Let me just get this into the broker. Just because we just got filled on it, we'll give it some time to just play around and see what it wants to do. Did I read that correctly? Yeah, okay, cool. 226. Oh, I gotta edit that message. So the 1 hour target is actually 262.26. What did I write? Yep, no, I did it correct. All right, just making sure. So Baba, sell 12 shares, price 126. I mean, 126. What am I talking about? 261.36. And let me put the stop in. That's a stop market. And this would be 259.04. Review order. Cool. All right, so I got that in there. So we'll see if we got another bull trap. I definitely have my stops in a decent place. We do have some new higher lows that did make new higher highs, so I kind of like that. And again, if we start to get some kind of breakout or push, I could just easily push that higher. For the day trade room, yes, this is day trades. So like as the market's live, we're mainly taking day trades in it. The swing trade room that we have is 5 p.m. Eastern to 6 p.m. The reason that we're able to do it then is because, again, the market's closed. So we have a full idea of what the actual picture looks like. So this candle right here on Baba, I have no idea. This could maybe sinks and just crashes all the way down to 215. Maybe it closes at 300 and just a phenomenal day for Baba. I have no idea. I could see it now, but it doesn't mean the candle's going to look like that. But on Friday, we could look at this candle. It's completely closed. The market's closed. We could go through a bunch of stocks in the afternoon room and say, okay, cool. If it hits the retest of this certain spot or breaks out or whatever, this would be our entries. This would be our stops. And then the same thing that they'll do is if they like a certain trade, they'll be able to take those trades and make them official for the group as well. So then anytime we get the official trades, we'll post those to Slack as well. Plus, if you do have, and I think if you guys are signed up for this free week, you will get the videos from the swing trade room. So if you cannot attend it live, that's fine. You'll get the video email to you as far as everything that was discussed and what the official trades are and why that they're taking them, things like that as well. So the swing trades are going to be more afternoon after the market's closed. So we get a full evaluation of the actual picture for the days. That's what I started doing. Took my first real trade last week. Nice, Darian. Very cool. Yeah, swing. Yeah, I mean, either way, if you are working full time, and again, I mean, I day trade. So just because I'm a day trader doesn't mean I don't take swings. So I definitely take swings. I also build pyramids, things like that. If you guys are working full time, you might not have access to be able to day trade and sit in front of the computer and wait for the setups. I mean, it's 1:57. I got 3 more minutes left on the mic. I had to wait for this trade pretty much all day for me to set it up. You guys might not have that ability to do it if you're working and have meetings and things like that. But swing trading, the market's closed. You could throw out your order to fill, put GTC, good till cancel, and if it triggers at your point, great, you're in it. If it stops you out, you have your stops in place. If it hits your targets, you have all that stuff. So you could literally analyze the markets on your own time schedule, which is awesome. Nice. But yeah, so you could use the markets, earn the extra income while you're having your day job and you're risking nothing. So workhorse has just been doing absolutely nothing since I got into it. Pretty much at break even right now. So we'll continue to wait, see if I can get another pivot or break or something like that, and I could probably move my stops up a little bit further. But for right now, we'll hold it. So for me personally, I have workhorse, and then for an official trade, we are in on Baba. So we'll see what happens if we get some kind of breaks, hit targets, anything like that. I workish one day every 3 days. Are you doing anything in like the medical industry? Is that why? I know like nurses, doctors, they have like 3 days that they just go hard and work crazy hours, and then they have a couple days off. Made $800 on it. All right, so we'll see. So those are two stocks I'm watching. So I do have only a minute left. We do close down the rooms, the day trade rooms at 2 p.m. Eastern. So there's only a minute left that I'm on the mic. But I definitely don't want to leave without answering any questions that you guys have in regards to the markets, in regards to the trades that we've taken, in regards to real life trading, the mentor groups, the podcast we do, the education that we have. Do any of you guys have any additional questions that I could cover for you guys or answer before I leave? If you do, put it in there. Otherwise, we'll probably just look to wrap the room up for today, and then we will be back again tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern. We do have that swing trade room, so you guys check it out. I think Jeremy's in that one today. So you, always just delivering greatness from everything that he's doing, setting up. So his analysis is just incredible in the market in general. Honestly, that's where I learned everything from. So I could definitely vouch for it. But otherwise, if you guys can't, you'll get those videos, and then we will be back here tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern as well. Do I have an AM routine, meditation, etc.? Good question, David. Man, that's deep, actually. Yeah, so I do. So I mean, I wake up, shower, eat breakfast. Typically, I look at the market, which is probably not a great habit to be in, but I do look at the markets like almost as soon as I wake up, just the futures to see like, hey, are we up, down, just something like that. But I don't look into detail of things. And then I do my own kind of just hang out, get ready for the day type situation. And then I'm back at the computer around 8:30 Eastern. So about an hour prior to the market. That's where I start looking at my existing positions for swing trades, for the pyramids. And then I start to look for what's gapping around 9 a.m. in the morning. That's where like bar chart updates, that's where FinViz updates. So you can check out some of the gaps of the day, things like that as well. And we go from there as far as just for that 30 minutes, just kind of doing my analysis on where I think the market's going, where it could bounce to, where the spots for the market is. And then we do have, and then when the market opens, I have typically some kind of potential positions or stocks that I'm watching relatively closely at that point as well. How do I look at the pre-market? So I'm looking at it. I look at it through Thinkorswim, but to get trading ideas for the day, I'm usually pulling up like barchart.com or FinViz, which you could do some kind of criteria searches and things like that on. So those are the ones that I'm primarily looking for to see. And then at nighttime, I'll look for, like, before I go to sleep, sometime in the evening, I'll typically look at stocks that either broke out of certain patterns, that are channeling and at the bottom of the channel at support, things like that, just so I have an idea of kind of what I want to look at, where I think I could get in, and then not always for a swing trade, but also that sets me up for where I want to potentially enter for a day trade as well. So that's typically what I do for pre-market. Darian says, will you have early times in the future for your mentor group? 8 p.m. is a tad late for you. Maybe. A lot of times I've been just doing the 8 p.m. Groups just because it covers more. So like East Coast people, they're all pretty much off of work. Any of the West Coast people, they're a couple hours behind, so it's not too late for them. Typically, I found when I tried to do the 6 p.m. before Eastern, but that's like 3 p.m. on the West Coast, and there's still a lot of people working and stuff like that. So it was just a little tougher to fill. But I know Tracy does have her Wednesday at 6 p.m. So if you did want to do that, the DJ nightlife, super early for West Coast, yeah. But all right, guys. So I'll wrap it there. You guys have been absolutely incredible. Thank you again for joining us on the free week. Honestly, I mean, I hope you guys got something at least from day one. As the week progresses, I mean, Johnny naturally had to go through a little bit more as far as the introductions to real life trading and stuff like that, just to get you guys comfortable with that. But as the week goes on, we'll probably get a little bit more aggressive as taking setups and, you know, being able to dig deeper. We just have more time and you guys are with us. So honestly, I definitely appreciate all you guys. I like I said, I hope you guys got something from it. Every time you guys mention anything in the comments, I get a lot from it, whether it's a stock setup or just something I could pull up, and just it helps me as well, just go through the different setups and analysis on things. So I appreciate obviously all you guys being here. And I look forward to, we do have the hedging with options course. So anybody interested in options, I think that starts tonight, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, absolutely. So, and then like I said, we do have the swing trade room to look forward to as well. Otherwise, I'll see all you guys. I'm actually off on the mic tomorrow, so I'll be around in the chat panes, but I won't be on the mic until Wednesday. Wednesday, 12 to 2, I'll be back in this room. And then Thursdays, Fridays, I'm on the mic 12 to 2 in the other day trade room. So I hope to see all you guys. See you guys all later.